Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Good afternoon. Today is Friday, February 2nd. My name's Donald Welch. I'm the author of The Love I Thought I Knew. This will be my last day. I mean, it's been a blissful 2 weeks being able to come up here on the Reader's Magnet and and share my stories and share my books and stuff like that. One of the things I want to do, closing out today, kind of briefly recap over some of the things that we talked about, recap over some of the books that I discussed, not so much to get into detail, but just kind of like give you the info, like for example, The Love I Thought I Knew, which is the one we've been promoting. I could say that Love I Thought I Knew is the one that's been getting pretty much the most attention, and I think because I've covered a topic where a whole lot more people are dealing with just the issue of love. And like I said, we were saying before, love is so broad and it's such hard work, and reflecting to the hard work, we're saying, 70-30. Hey, Bob, how you doing today? I'm glad you could join. Like I said, I wish we can go, another week or so, because like I said, I'm having fun with this, being able to share this. But like I was saying, The Love I Thought I Knew, I think it was just one of those that, many people were looking at to be discussed, shall I say. Because when we talk about love, like I said, there are different levels of love. Like I say, you have, loving yourself first. Like I was saying before, you got to love yourself in order to be able to express any type of love, whether it be unconditional, whether it be personal, whether it be professional. So the one thing I can say that I learned a lot about, just discussing this topic. I mean, like I said, to be able to answer comments and questions that people may have. Let's see. Let's say, hey, hello, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Covering, something so, it can be one of those touchy subjects, like somebody may not even want to discuss it, but they want the answer to the things they really don't want to discuss. And there's probably times where I may have touched on something that somebody may have not wanted to discuss, but they got the answer that they were looking for, or they've learned a new approach to take when it comes to, either dishing out love or receiving love, or, just, being able to love yourself. One of the hardest things a lot of people have is, I say, just falling in the category of loving yourself. When it comes to dealing with other people, the thing that, some of us worry about is acceptance. acceptance. Okay. If you don't feel like that you're being accepted, then automatically you might link it right to you automatically feel like that you're not loved. So, but there's a big difference when we're talking about love and acceptance. Acceptance is one of those things that you can either do with it or you can do without it. But like I said, if somebody's not accepting you and you can continue to love yourself, then it's a win-win for yourself because you got to think about yourself. Let's see, Bob. I've learned a lot of perspectives from. I appreciate that, Bob. I was glad that I was able to share, perspectives, and to this day, even when it comes to perspectives that I've had, I still learn a lot from people that, I looked up to as mentors. And to be truthfully honest, I've even learned from people that I've actually mentored, because like I said, there's always room for learning, you know. Um, I would say people that, generations after me, they're going to come up with ideas I would have never thought of. And, some of the ideas that they may come up with is because, technology has become more advanced. So, being the age that I am, when you're 50 and above, there are still technologies that could be challenging to us. But at the same time, if you're open to, learning those technologies, it makes life a little bit much more easier for you. And it goes back to when I was talking about love, because when you're looking at love, and like I said, I was born in the late 60s. So when you're talking about love back then, it's different than the love that you see now, because even with love, you may be in a position where you can love somebody, but you don't see that affection. But as we get like to the late 70s, late 80s, people showing more affection, which is, displays their level of love, for someone. Because I remember I was talking to people back then that, they were saying that, oh, this was like taboo. We never did this. You never seen people, kiss in public. You never seen people really hold hands or really show affection. Sometimes people could be in a relationship. You never knew he was in a relationship because they just didn't display it. Now, it's more open and more broad where people display it. You don't have to take a guess. People, and when it comes to love, like I said, it just depends on what the circumstance is. Now, like I said, people can love people in so many different ways. And then like I said, you'll see many more displays of love where it's like have came to a time where, who you are, you're about the person that you're with or whatever the case may be. And, you get people that still like till this day, they may frown on the situation. And what I mean by that is, let's just say one of the things that was one of the most common that, people were, frowning upon, where, you love who you love. And then when it comes to love, love is colorblind. And, and I've seen in many cases where there have been mixed relationships where, somebody's, African American, somebody's Caucasian, or whatever the case may be. Because you get some of those people that have their mindset where you should be with your own. And me, like I said, me again, I'm optimistic. You love who you love, because you can come across somebody and you can fall in love with them and never have anything in common with them, because when you come across that person and you just find some common aspects, like liking some of the same things, like liking some of the same foods, liking some of the same movies, you can like some of the movies. Like I'll give you an example. The Marvel comics, okay? I've heard and listened to a lot of people talk about Marvel comics, and I'm talking about people from all different nationalities, and they fall in love with movies like that. So now you can have somebody from a different one culture, and then you have somebody from a different culture. They love the same movie, so that's one of the things that they have in common, and it can, a lot of other things to come along. We can even go to food. So you can have somebody from one culture love food, and you can have somebody from another culture love that same food. They also love the comics, the comic movies. So now there are two things that people love that they have in common, but growing up, you would have never knew that they had it in common. You know, and like I said, when it comes to love, love is the same. It's the same. It's pretty much the same. That's why when we talk about the topic of love, that's why I say love is hard work, because not only that you loving who you love, now one of the challenges you got to think about, will people accept you for who you love? Whether it be somebody from a different nationality, whether it be, you know, you involved with somebody of the same sex, stuff like that, are people going to judge you? And it's like I said, the challenges are real. The challenge it's tough. I mean, even if it's just perfectly what you would consider perfectly normal, where you have a man and a woman, you have a man and man, you have a woman and woman, you have, like I said, a person in this culture and that culture, it's the dynamics are extremely different because you have those people that they was brought up one way and this is the only way that they see it. Not that they may have a real problem with seeing something that they're not used to seeing. It's just one of the things where some people are just set in their ways and they don't know how to change. And like I said, it's nothing wrong with that because really it's a mental thing when you think about it. Because like I said, if somebody's never experienced or never been exposed to some of the things that we see in the world today, then automatically they're going to have that defense up, and then now they shutting off something that becomes a reality. That becomes a reality. I've dealt with people where I've had prior colleagues where they will see things that they just firmly don't believe in, and it was I used to hear comments like, I'm moving out of the country because I can't deal with this. And I asked some of them questions. I said, what makes you think that you won't see this, that you're so against in other countries as well, Let's see, Ben, good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon, Ben. Thanks for joining. Um, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it still all revolves around love. So if you love somebody unconditionally and you accept them for who they are, then guess what? You got somebody that you may not accept, but love is still love. You know, let's see, Laney, your thoughts on love or quite eye-opening. Uh, yeah, it's like I say, Laney, it's like I said, it's one of the things that love is constantly a learning experience. Like I said, it's definitely tough work. We came to that understand that it is tough work. Okay. Let's see, Carla. How's your day been? Thanks, Carla. My day has been great. It's funny because you got the same last name. Are we related, Carla? So, but yeah, my day has been great. Work went great. I had a couple of catering events. They went great. So, hey, Timothy, how you doing? I'm glad you can catch me live. I'm glad that you joined. One thing I can say, Tim, a couple of y'all, Tim, Bob, a couple other people, I want to thank you for, joining in my live. I truly appreciate it. And, I would love to do more, hopefully, Reader's Magnet later on down in the future, has, more of these events. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, especially as my last day. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to miss this, but I'm going to keep up with Reader's Magnet. And, my thing is, if they have more storytellers or, whatever other events they're going to have, I want to be a part of. I will share a couple of things with some, maybe especially with people that just joined today that probably hadn't joined. One of the things that was recommended, if I know Tim and probably Bob probably remember, when I had the author of the hour with Dr. Wee, I seriously thought about, gave consideration to what she was saying about looking into, marriage and family therapy, so I'm in the midst of looking up, information to like, some courses. What I'm doing is I'm calling our veterans, the Veterans Administration, see if you have the vocab, we call it the vocab. It's kind of like vocational programs where, you get into that and, of course, the VA, they take care of that, and they see you through your schooling, and they get you into, it's kind of like a job placement for veterans. So I am looking into that. So I wanted to let you know. One of the things, a comment that I received from somebody about looking into workshops. It's funny that I was talking to somebody, one of my colleagues at work today, and I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be getting set up with a program, not a program, but an event that's coming up February 24th. And I think with this individual, she's a publisher, not publisher, but she's a book author as well. She writes children's books. So I'm going to link up with this lady that one of my colleagues is going to connect me with, and I'm going to see if they have any programs, like any workshops in place. And if they do, of course, I'm going to jump right in, because with the workshops, one of the things we can do in workshops, where it's like, if we have people that's thinking about being an author, kind of give them the understanding behind it, the dedication that I have, me and maybe, if she have other authors, we could share our stories, our journey when it comes to, when it comes to writing. Um, like I said before, in some of my beginning sessions that, you know, writing, I never thought I was going to really write books, to be truthfully honest. This was not in my plan, but I think the man upstairs has guided me to this. And, it was one of the things that once he's knocking on your door, you answer that door because you never know what's in store for you. And I got the writing. And, at first when I was writing, I was like, am I getting anywhere with this writing? So it's a matter of putting your passion into, because writing was one of the things I had to learn to love because, like I said, again, that wasn't in my plan. But, like I said, sometimes, you have that what is the word I'm looking for? You have that lifeline where, somebody throws a bone to you and you're going to, you're curious. You're going to say, let me investigate what this is because this is trying to tell me something. So the more I got to writing and putting ideas together, I was able to put my stories together, and not only just my stories, but a lot of the realities, some of my realities, some realities of people that I've came across in my, career in the military, just even with people growing up, I'm able to share their stories and I'm able to share my stories. Now, when it comes to sharing their stories, it's because I may have experienced it, or I could say that I've gotten an understanding of where they are coming from. So like even like say for example with this, I flash this like, Dad's unexpected battle. Like I said, once you're dealing with colleagues, one of the things I said before, like when you can become friends with people, and when you're friends, especially when you've been friends for a long time, they're like family. So even with a lot of people that I grew up with, I grew up with ever since, we talking kindergarten, playing in the sandbox, a lot of them, they've been my lifelong friends, but we've, came up with our own term. It's not friendship, it's familyship, because familyship is, friends that they're just like your family. You can go over their house, you can eat their food, you can be invited to dinner, and this you become more of a family, not so much of a friend, because now, typically a family, you're in the same home together, you sleep in the home, you eat dinner at the table, and then, you find yourself with, friends that you've been close with for so long where, you're at their dinner table and, their parents are treating you like you're their child, and you're like brothers and sisters to each other. So, so we came up with the term familyship. And, I think what I'm gonna do is, I, I think I'm gonna get a t-shirt made. Like if you're my friend, chances are you're my family. And with the longevity, it becomes familyship. So that's just, I come up with little slogans. So I'm just, trying to think of not only that slogan, but maybe a design to go along with it. So, but but like I said, just to kind of like, go back to some of the things, I discussed with my book, a lot of it touched a lot of people in different ways. Let's see, Bob. Glad you found your calling and writing. You know what, Bob? I'm glad I did. This, for something that I never had as a plan is really working for me. And one thing I will say about writing, it is a therapy to me because I'm able to gather my thoughts. It's kind of like people that sit there and meditate, and it's I'm able to clear my mind. I can write my thoughts in a book, but I'm clearing my mind. It's my moment of relaxation. I mean, I can sit here and I can write, and I mean, I can sit here and play, you know, music, and it don't sound. It could be soft music, it could be jazz, it could be any type of thing that like say any type of calm music. And even sometimes when you're sitting there and you're listening to calm music, or take somebody like Kenny G, somebody that plays the saxophone. I mean, you can hear the music, and that music can resonate something that make you want to write something down. It's like maybe certain tones might remind you of something. Let's see, JP. Donald, just want to thank you for the story and knowledge you've shared with us during the festival. We appreciate your time. Enjoy your day. I appreciate that, JP. Like I said, I'm glad I was able to share a lot of my stories, share my books and stuff like that. And I'm going to continue this journey, like I said, as of right now. Like I said, I do have two projects that I am working on as far as, books coming out. And yes, they're going to be in play forms. And I also have, like I said, some future projects, after that, in the midst of the two projects that I'm working on. One of the projects that's going to be in the midst of the two that I'm working on, I'm doing a documentary on my mom, but like I said, with that, it's going to take a while because I'm still doing some research for some, some events that happened during the time frame. So I want to be as accurate as I can. And, with that one, like I said, I want to break that down in segments. And with segments, it's like the time frames, I would say 10-year increments and stuff like that. Let me see, Julie. Some people are quite narrow-minded with things. Yeah, it's one of the things that's, kind of hard for people is to have a broad perspective of, like, let's just say when you're getting your thoughts together and like even writing down in a book, you got some people that's got their mindset, on one thing, like, okay, if you have a situation, the only way that this situation will work is if you do it this way. You've heard the saying, there are many ways to skin a cat, and some people just stuck on the way that they do things, and and then it's kind of hard to get communication through to some folks. And say, you're very brave for speaking so candidly about these things. One thing I can say that my mother always taught me is like, if I can't be true to myself, how can I be true to people that I speak with? And let's see, Timothy, will you be writing some plays? Yeah, as a matter of fact, The Love I Thought I Knew, that's actually a play. A Dad's Unexpected Battle is a play. Hiding My Unhappiness, which is one of my books, which was my first play. My Lost Identity, which came after Hiding My Unhappiness. So I got 4 plays and I got 3 books. So I'm just right now. I'm stuck in loving the fact of writing formats as a play, because when that time does come and I do connect with the right people, I want to have some plays under my belt. So once I start on one and get that to going, and especially, I figure once we get that journey to going, I know I'm going to love that journey and I want to have something else where I can start working on as well. I see Kelly. Workshops are great because they help you connect with like-minded people. Yes, it does. It's I've been a part of a let's say, if people can recall, if you had like an Upward Bound or we had Big Brother Big Sister programs that had actual programs within the community where we had workshops where we was helping people, especially different issues, everything. Let's see, Holly. Yeah, family ship is at word for it. Some families are made from bonds, not blood. True. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Um, there's some people that I'm real close with that, have shared with me that, they feel like I'm more of a family to them than some of their own family. And, and like I said, things like that will happen in life because, like I said, we're only human. And sometimes, we can agree to disagree, but sometimes when we agree to disagree, you have some people that have levels of, understanding within themselves that, if it's something that hits near and dear to their heart, they may take it so personal that they just feel that they can't, bounce back from that, so that's where, it comes to a time where people start holding grudges with each other. And a grudge is one of the worst things that you could hold because you never want to get to the point where you say, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I should have did this, or whatever the case may be. I mean, some people can carry a grudge to their grave. I mean, you just have people like that. You have people that just don't have, the they just don't have the compassion that maybe that they're been lacking. Sometimes, you have people that just don't have a feeling whatsoever because, especially if they've been abused or they've been taken advantage of and, they just can't trust, they got their guard up. It's, when some people have their guard up, it's kind of hard to bring that guard down because now we start touching on the issue about trust and stuff like that, especially like say when it comes to love, even with love, when you love somebody and you're betrayed, I mean, that's one of the most sensitive things in your life that you go through is having your love, the love and compassion that you have, the unconditional that you have for somebody becomes betrayed. So if you love somebody unconditionally and you're betrayed, it's a hard one to bounce back from. One thing I can say, like with myself, I can't recall a time that I could say I felt betrayed when it comes to loving somebody. I mean, like I said, you can love somebody and you can say I like them, but I don't love them. And you say that because maybe what you may be going through right now. But if you can still like a person, if you say you love a person, but you don't love them now, you like them, that means that there's room, where this could be turned around. You still dealing with them, but you just like them. You still may love them, but it's just that moment that you have to get past whatever the animosity may be. Let me see. Elaine, I feel I never thought I'd be a teacher, yet here I am. See, I mean, like I said, everybody has their calling, and sometimes their calling may not be what their plan is. And then sometimes, when you have a calling, there are subtle hints that's going to come across you that, makes you want to investigate, like, why does this keep crossing my mind? Like I said, when I had my author of the hour, and this was Sunday, and we looking at Friday right now, and I still thought about what Dr. Wee said. I mean, marriage and family therapy. I mean, like I said, it's very interesting. And, like I said, I'm seriously going to look into that. So maybe I can do that and then also write a book, covering that as well. Let's see, Holly. Often things unplanned make the greatest impact. Yeah, it does, because like I said, when it comes to writing, knowing that I didn't have it planned, people that I've mentored that, either listen to some of the things I've told, like I've given, I did public speaking, um, and then to try to put that into a writing format, it was, one of the things that I could say I'm still reiterating my message, where if I'm not able to speak at an event or whatever the case may be, then here it is. I have a book that pretty much, tells the story of what I may be saying, because I mean, we can go over, topics that, people really want to hear. And I'm one of the ones, like, if it's things that people really want to hear, I want to talk about it. I can go all day and say, what is it that you want to talk about? And it's like, the questions can come, or, I could just think of a topic what, like I said, like something simple, say people loving their kids, how much, how far do you go when it comes to loving your kids? What would you accept when it comes to your kids? Especially if people say, my kids are my world, how much of that world, you could say that the perimeter that your kids cover till they get to the point that they get outside into their own bubble, and now they have their world. They still may be your world, but what about, like, when like say a kid turns 18, they ready to move on their own, then you have to turn them loose. You still have that unconditional love, but now they're outside of your bubble because now they're on their own. You know, that doesn't mean that your level of love change, but at the same time, you got to have an open mind to some of the things that, you bringing them up, that, things that you didn't teach them, that all of a sudden they've engaged into stuff that you said to yourself, I would have never taught them that. I don't believe in that, or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, that's why I say how much of your world covers the carpet, that covers the compass of what your kids may get into. Something as simple as, like I said, mixed marriages, or, mixed relationships, same-sex relationships and stuff like that. That's the thing that, okay, it's like, I love this person. Now I have to accept what I don't believe in because I love this person. Or you don't have to accept it. You can still love that person, but it's still going to come with challenges. So, even in some of my books, some the things that, you can look at in the book, that some of the challenges that people go through, like, just for example, in, my book, A Dad's Unexpected Battle, one of the things that, I touched on in there was, you have, like say you have two parents and they got kids, and, one of the parents wasn't the biological parent. So just, if you have a person that's got kids, and then this person that has kids get into a relationship with somebody, now there's that challenge, how does my kids feel about this individual? And, and I know this individual is, you say this individual is the person that I need. This is the person I've been looking for. This is my dream right here. It may be your dream, but it may not be your kid's dream. Now you got to sit here and put it, the level of work, the percentage goes up, because now your kids are involved. So now that's the thing that we have to look at. And, like I said, broad perspective of love. Okay. Now, like, when we're talking about writing books and stuff like that, you know, it's like I said, like me, I'm a person, I keep a pen and a pad with me all the time. It doesn't even matter. I see you, Melinda. That's a big problem because it's hard to get out of that bubble. Yeah, it is. It is. It's a challenge. It's not impossible. It's you know it's a challenge. You know nothing. You know we say nothing's impossible unless you're to the point that you know you're not capable of doing because you know something's holding you back. And I'm not saying fear, but you know something that's just preventing you from doing it. But you know the challenge, like I said, that's why we say you know the challenges are real when it comes to life in itself because life has so many challenges. You know, like I said, loving somebody, accepting somebody, believing, your beliefs and another person believes, that's even a challenge in itself. Let's say, for example, we'll hit on real quick religion. You know, you have religion, you have Baptists, you have Methodists, you have Catholics, you know, you have all these religions. And at the end of the day, you know, you say to yourself, you know, what are you getting out of it? You know, then you have people that you know are non-denominational, which means they're not claiming a specific religion. It's just you know to them it's spiritual, you know. And then now you get into these religious battles. You know, we've seen it on TV where people are fighting, you know, overseas and stuff like that. And you know, one of the main topics that they fight over is religion. But you know, when it comes to religion, people that grow up and you know let's say they go to church, whether you don't go to church but you believe, you know, at the end of all that, it all you know it's all supposed to bring the same message of what we talked about before, love. At the end of the day, you know, you even seen the Bible, love thy neighbor. Okay, that's one of the hardest challenges to do because if you're supposed to love thy neighbor, what about if you get into it with your neighbor? You know you have you know your disputes. You know you're on my property. This you know it's that's why I say you know love has so many boundaries when it comes to the work that you have to put in to have the understanding with each other. Okay. Well, getting close to the end. It's about my time, but like I said, I have enjoyed myself for this past 2 weeks. Um, like I said, Reader's Magnet has been nothing but the best, and I look forward to you know some of the future events that they're going to be in. I will say that you know some of you know what's on the itinerary next. You know, I've you know talked with some of the staff, and you know we're looking at you know London, LA Times, stuff that's coming up down the future. I don't know the exact dates or anything, but I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully, you know, we have more festival storytellers because I would definitely like to be a part of that. And hopefully by the next time if they do have, you know, I'll have more books written and, you know, I can go over those as well. Well, it's been a pleasure, like I said, sharing my stories. You know, it's been a pleasure, you know, taking comments and questions from people and, you know, giving me the opportunity to answer. It makes me much more of a better person because your perspective becomes a learning tool for me, whereas you know now I can see perspectives from a different angle. Okay, well, like I said, it's Friday. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, be safe out there, and it's been a pleasure. Y'all take care. See you later.